Simple minds, clever lines. The humorous wisdom of the country people will make you laugh until you cry. Have you ever laughed so hard you learned something? Or heard a piece of wisdom so strange it just had to be true? What if we told you the best life lessons come wrapped in muddy boots, a dusty pickup, and a whole lot of sass? What do Cool Whip bowls, bathroom flower pots, and tractors on a first date have in common? Why does a lawnmower have more miles than your car? And why is that not even the weirdest part? What can a self-declared redneck teach you about living with authenticity, humor, and heart? Have you ever laughed so hard at a line of wisdom that it actually made sense? Ever wondered why the simplest truths often come wrapped in the quirkiest packages? Or how certain kinds of humor manage to carry surprising amounts of insight? Today we're diving headfirst into the hilariously honest world of redneck wisdom, where jokes aren't just for laughs but for learning. Life in the countryside holds a kind of charm that's hard to explain and harder to forget. Whether it's homegrown humor or the raw truths of everyday living, rednecks have a way of putting things that will make you laugh, reflect, and maybe even grow. Here's a ride through some of the funniest, most eye-opening redneck sayings that, believe it or not, just might change the way you think about life. If you own a house with wheels but have several cars without any, there's a strong possibility you might be a redneck. You might be a redneck if your garden proudly displays flowers planted in an old bathroom appliance sitting right in your front yard. If your barber gives you an estimate before your haircut begins, you're probably a redneck. You might be a redneck if your working television rests comfortably atop your non-working one. If you've spent more money upgrading your pickup truck than you did completing your education, then you might just be a redneck. You might be a redneck if your refrigerator's located outdoors and you have to go outside to grab something cold. If you've ever casually made change from the offering plate at church, you could be a redneck. You might be a redneck if your dog gags just from watching you eat your dinner. If the value of your truck in the Blue Book changes based on how much fuel is in the tank, you're definitely in redneck territory. You might be a redneck if your salad bowl collection all reads Cool Whip on the side. You might be a redneck if you'd rather spray weed killer than actually mow your lawn. If you believe a chainsaw is more of a musical instrument than a cutting tool, you're probably a redneck. You might be a redneck if your belt buckle weighs more than 3 pounds. If your first date required asking your dad for the tractor keys, then yep, you guessed it. You might be a redneck if directions to your home involve turning off the paved road. If more than one living family member is named after a Confederate general, you might be a redneck. You could be a redneck if your neighbors assume you're a detective because the police keep giving you rides home. I'm happier than a tornado in a trailer park. Now that's a mood only redneck wisdom can express. He fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. It's brutal, but weirdly poetic. You can start an argument in an empty house? That takes true redneck spirit. He's one fry short of a happy meal, colorful, honest, and very telling. To some, redneck might sound like an insult, but to many it's a sense of self, a proud way of life. Growing up in Redneck, Texas with ballet shoes and a violin meant fighting against expectations, and sometimes stereotypes. People hear NASCAR and think of flags and prejudice, but for true fans, it's tradition, thrill, and passion, not politics. I built a redneck persona for my show, wild, loud, party-filled. But that's not all of me. I'm more than a stereotype. I'm kind of a closet redneck. That's a confession many who move between worlds might resonate with. I'm a redneck from Florida. My family's into country music. My uncles hunt. We're NASCAR fans. It's a Southern thing. Living in construction towns exposed me to white Southern workers, some of whom fit the redneck mold for better or worse. Of all the blue-collar comedians, I was probably the least redneck. But even I have some of that in me. My daughter's a redneck woman. She's proud of it, and so am I. Learning to hunt taught me something deeper: self-sufficiency, organic eating, and responsibility. A sophisticated spin on a redneck activity. In West Virginia, if you didn't know your NASCAR standings, you were an outsider. It was that serious. Hosting Redneck Island was a blast. Behind the laughs, it showcased grit, humor, and real people. There's an intelligent redneck in all of us, humble, wise, and unafraid to speak plainly. If your family tree doesn't fork, you might be a redneck. If you've had to take a toothpick out for a family photo, that's redneck royalty. You might be a redneck if your lawnmower has racked up more miles than your car. If your bathtub also serves as a cooler, then yep, you're definitely a redneck. That's some real backwoods brilliance right there. If you cracked a smile, nodded in agreement, or saw a little of yourself in these lines, hit that like button. Share this video with a friend who could use a good laugh and a little down-home truth. And don't forget to subscribe for more hearty laughs, unexpected wisdom, and legendary quotes that stick with you long after the chuckle fades. Every like and share from you is a powerful motivation for us to keep bringing better things each day. Thank you for being here with us.